Diane Abbott suspended. I feel a bit sorry for her. I think she's not such a bad person, really. A little bit, I don't know, maybe she's been in politics for too long. Can't be easy dating Jeremy Corbyn. Um, but I, I don't know. I mean, there are other politicians I dislike more than her. I don't really like any of them, to be honest. The only one I can think of at the moment I've got some respect for is Andrew Bridgen. But there's always a suspicion that even he might be controlled opposition. But you know, when there's only one out of 650 MPs that you respect, that is mathematically there should be one MP I don't like or don't respect, and there's just one out of 650 that I respect. So there is something wrong with politics. But I know that, you know, if I was a politician, I'd probably find it quite difficult. Even if you really mean well, you might find that getting things done is much, much harder than complaining. Um, and politicians do have to do the job that we complain about, and it's always harder to do a job than it is to complain about the person who's doing the job. So I acknowledge that. But I just don't believe that a lot of politicians, I mean, a lot of the things they get up to, clearly they know it's a scam, like COVID and things like that, climate change, things like that. They're obviously aware of it. The Joe Cox incident, where all they had the red roses, the sub rosa, it was secrecy. I'm sure almost all the MPs knew that that was a scam. It was designed to get people to vote to stay in the EU, but it didn't work as effectively as they were hoping. And since they didn't bother to rig the vote, or maybe they did, maybe they even rigged it in favour of Brexit. I don't know. We haven't really got Brexit anyway. Now let's get back to this Diane Abbott. What she said here: many types of white people with points of difference can experience prejudice, but they are not subject to racism all their lives. She later tweeted to say, I mean, apparently the Board of Deputies, disgraceful. Well, Sir Keir Starmer's a Zionist, he's admitted it. His wife is Jewish. He's got relatives in Israel. I don't understand what's so wrong with this. You know, you might disagree with her. It's legitimate. You can't withdraw. I mean, you know, aren't people allowed to have an opinion? Success for women need not be the same as for men. What's this? Blah blah. This is similar to racism. In pre-civil rights America, Irish people, Jewish people, travellers were not required to sit at the back of the bus. In apartheid South Africa, these people were allowed to vote. And at the height of slavery, there was no white. Okay, well, that's fair. I mean, the Jews owned a lot of slave ships, as a matter of fact. I'm sorry. What is wrong with this letter? It's just opinion. I mean, the question is this: why are we not allowed an opinion? The point about having an opinion is we may disagree with it. We might even find it ridiculous or horrible, but at least we should be allowed to have it. Because if we prevent people from having an opinion, then, I mean, that's very serious. We should allow people to have an opinion, even if they're wrong. And the whole point of having an opinion is that it's going to vary. Opinion. If everybody had the same opinion, it wouldn't be an opinion, would it? I mean, it's not an opinion that 0 centigrade is freezing point. That's a fact. But, you know, maybe at some future date we'll be not allowed to say that. We'll have to agree that 10 centigrade is freezing point. And if you don't allow it, you'll have the whip removed. So Diane Abbott's, it doesn't say anything here about, it's true that many types of white people, such as redheads, can experience this prejudice. Okay, such as redheads. She's not actually, to be fair, she's not actually comparing redheads with, I mean, and another thing is, it's about the Jews. Have you noticed that? The Jewish people. She actually mentioned Irish people and travellers, as well as Jews. But it's only the Jews who complain about this, right? And it's not even the Jews who complain. It's actually, a lot of Jews couldn't give a flying fuck about this issue and don't even have a problem with what she's just said. Even if you disagree with her, why not let her say it? You know, I hear a lot of shit I disagree with every day of the week, but I don't panic. It annoys me. It annoys me to hear silly things. I don't think what Diane Abbott said was bad, and you don't need to get your whip redrawn for this, right? It's perfectly true. Jewish people enjoy a very privileged status in Britain. They are very heavily represented, overrepresented in politics, in media, in banking, in big business. The guy who was recently head of the CBI, who apparently was guilty of some sort of sex pestery, Jewish. That's never mentioned. In fact, when you hear about Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein and so on, it's the fact that they're Jewish is almost never mentioned in the media. They're just white men, you see. They're not Jews. So when Jews do something bad, their Judaism is hidden. But if they do something good, their Judaism is mentioned. So they can be white when it suits them and not white when it suits them. So this letter by Diane Abbott is really, really harmless. But the point is this: you're not allowed to mention Jews without you've got to be sycophantic to these people. These people control our world, right? I mean, I don't know. It's a pity, but the thing is, the thing I need to stress is this: this is not Jewish people in general who are. This is not their opinion. The problem is that in most countries of the world, Jewish organisations or organisations claiming to be Jewish or representing Jews are able to speak on behalf of all Jews, including those Jews who do not agree with them. That's very, very unfair. And we allow these people to speak on their behalf, and we shouldn't. Jews should not be considered as a group. They should be considered as individuals. And it's very dangerous for individual Jews that they are being misrepresented by these very powerful, very well funded and incredibly vindictive organisations. Thank you for your time.